Welcome to another edition of the Will Be Blood Fight Show. I'm your host, Diaz. What's going on, brothers? Okay, we got a good, deep card on Saturday night pay-per-view. We got Marquez versus Juan the Baby Bull Diaz. We got Rocky Juarez versus Chris John. Let's go with Chris John versus Rocky Juarez first, okay? Okay, if you guys haven't seen Chris John, Google him, check him out. He's got a really deep boxing background. This guy's got some long bouts in amateur, so when it comes to going through passing the semesters in college, in the boxing world, he's passed them. You could probably say he's been, top of his first class, in the amateur division, okay? So, this is a guy really that is a boxer, puncher, counter puncher, really slick, can really expose your weaknesses, and the weaknesses of Rocky Juarez is already there. We already know you can outbox Rocky Juarez. As long as you don't decide to stand there and train with Rocky's power is not going to take over and get possibly a late round stoppage. That's something Chris John is not going to do. The only thing is this, though. Walking into the fight, Chris John needs to know that he's walking in homeboy's hometown, meaning that we saw the fight cards for when Rocky Juarez fought Jorge Barrios, okay? It was ridiculous. So you know that there's going to be favoritism in the Houston hometown. The judges are going to be going, favoring the hometown fight guys there, okay? So that's the only thing you got to be a little concerned about with Chris John, is that whether Chris John is going to be, hey, I'm just going to try to unbox him and hopefully get the win on a unanimous scorecard from the judges, or I'm going to have to take some risk. Being that, I'm coming to the U.S., going to Texas, being in Houston, fighting the favorite son of Rocky Juarez from Houston, Texas, I might have to take some risks. And that's where may be some problems for Chris John the Dragon. If Dragon decides to throw some flames, he's got to make sure he throws flames, goes under, pulls out, and then comes back again. He always got to keep Rocky, turning. Not allow Rocky to stand in front of him and really land those heavy shots that he has. Because if that's one thing Rocky has been underrated about, his power. We've seen what he's able to do. He can turn the fight around. Chris John, Jorge Barrios are not the same type of fighters, but Jorge Barrios was obviously able to outbox Rocky, but couldn't keep the momentum. He slowed down, he tired out because he used his legs a lot. That's something Chris John doesn't do. He will use his legs a lot, but he won't tire out. He's got good stamina. So look for Chris to really just kind of outbox him, outmaneuver him, land his shots. He's a good, strong fighter, though. Chris John is a good, strong fighter. My only concern is this. Is he going to be content in trying to box him? And is there going to be any wondering, if I box this guy and it goes to the scorecard, are they going to give me the fight? There's a big possibility you won't get the fight like that. You might have to go in there and throw some flames on Rocky Juarez and really see if you can handle the bite of Rocky. Because whether or not you like it or not, Rocky's a little guy, but everything's big in Texas. And that's one thing he's got, is a big punch. Okay, so if I have to make a pick, I'm going to say this. If Chris doesn't damage or try to knock out Rocky and it goes to unanimous decision, more likely Rocky's going to take it. But if Chris is able to do something that nobody's ever able to do to Rocky Juarez, which is beat him up, stop him, even when he fought Pereira and he fought Marquez. Remember, they didn't beat him. They didn't beat him up. They just outmaneuvered him and they kept him at bay. Now, can Chris do that? We don't know, because Chris is not, unfortunately, not in the same caliber as them. I know some guys are going to be like, yeah, okay, but he beat Marquez. Remember, that was a questionable beat, because it was, Marquez did go over to his home place, okay? In his side of the pond. So that there already tells you that, he's not in the same league. I hate to say it. He's not in that same league yet. We don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he'll tell us on that night, Saturday night, February 28th. Okay, let's move on from that fight. Great fight. Okay, we got Marquez versus Juan the Baby Bull. That is a great matchup, first off, okay? You got the young against the old, the counter puncher against the pressure fighter. Now, I've been able to sit there and talk to Steve Kim about it, and got to chop it up. I'll post it up about our conversation about that fight. Different views about it, different outputs about it, but I'm going to give you mine, obviously, right now. Okay, this is the problem I have, okay? Juan the Baby Bull Diaz, really honestly, is a great fighter. But whether he's able to really step it up to a Marquez, one of the more intelligent fighters that we have to date right now. If you think of a chessmate player, that's him. He's the chessmate player. He knows how to maneuver. He knows how to move his soldiers. He knows how to keep his queen in the background. He knows exactly what to do to strategize himself to get to himself to that point. Remember, he's fought the pound-for-pound fighter Manny Pacquiao twice, and for 2 times he gave him his run for his money. He fought Gasamayor, who was really not a prime Gasamayor, but nobody had never been able to knock him out. Okay, he fought Marco Antonio Barrera and dropped Barrera. Okay, so the big question is this: is Juan the Baby Bull Diaz right now at this moment, is he able to put the pressure that he's been able to do all to the other fighters and really apply it and do something that normally he's never been able to do, which is what? Be the counterpuncher in this fight. Because if that's one thing, the Bull's got to change it up just a little bit, because Marquez is so intelligent. Marquez really, the style for facing a Marquez fits him perfectly. He likes it when you come forward. He wants you to come forward because that's his game plan. He wants to be able to take that step back and counter, okay? So the Bull is going to have to do this. In order for the Bull to take this fight, he's going to have to make Marquez do something in his career that he hasn't done in a long time, which is what? Be the pressure fighter. The Bull switches it. Turn the tables. He becomes the counterpuncher. You make Marquez become the pressure fighter. That's the only way I can see the Bull really pulling it off, okay? It's really difficult for the Bull. The other thing, too, I got a couple emails saying, hey, you know what, but the Bull can knock him out. When have you ever seen him knock anybody out? We're talking about Marquez, guys. You know, when you said, oh, Barrera and Manny Pacquiao dropped Marquez. Yeah, much bigger punchers. Much bigger punchers, okay? They're not in the caliber of punching power when it comes to the Bull versus Pacquiao and Marquez. Completely different. If anything, the Bull's been able to make people surrender, you know, in their seat or during the fight because of the volume amount of punches that he throws. They just don't seem to know how to keep up with it. The unfortunate thing is that Marquez will be able to tame that down, drop the volume of punches, the stats of punches. He'll be able to control it. He's got great ring generalship and stuff, you know. This is a great matchup, man. This is really, honestly, you know, youth versus wisdom, okay? Can youth overpower wisdom, or can youth mix it up with a little bit of wisdom and try to outmaster the wizard? That's the thing that I have to say about that fight. I think it's a great matchup. Who do I have to pick on that fight? If I have to pick against anybody, my pick is going to be Marquez. I think, you know, at the moment, you know, Marquez is just too strong, too fast. Moving at 135, I thought he looked a lot more comfortable. I thought he looked a lot more fluent, and I thought he looked a lot more confident. So that being said, I'm going to have to say he's going to give Juan the Baby Bull Diaz a run for his money. Remember, Nate Campbell does not even compare on boxing skills to Marquez, and he was able to really outmaneuver and puzzle Diaz, even though Diaz said that he was having an off night. Well, you know what? You can't have an off night with Marquez, because that's one thing Marquez will do, is capitalize it. So like I said, I'm going to go with Marquez on a unanimous decision. Him knocking out Diaz, I doubt it very much, just because the fact that Diaz has got an A-class jaw, okay? But there's no shame losing to a Marquez, a legend out of Mexico City. No shame in it. If he loses, big deal. He's still a young guy, still got, you know, a lot of fights out there for him to potentially grow with, and he'll be ready to be one of the top pound for pound. At the moment, though, the guy that's leading pound for pound list right now is a Marquez. Marquez right now is just in his prime. A guy that started late in his prime. He's been in the game for a long time, but his prime kicked in his 30s. So I'm looking for Marquez to take a unanimous decision, possibly a split decision, and really look for him to really put a lot of pressure, counter-punching and pressuring him when he needs to. When you see him start to pressure, it'll be in the later rounds. When you see a discouraged Diaz. That's my pick, guys. Before I let you guys go, you know, the website is up. We got a radio show coming out, man, and for everybody to get on and call in. It's gonna have a hotline, the whole works, so we all can talk boxing and debate. You know, just pretty much just chop it up and everybody have a good time on the radio show. But the website has great articles. Nobody's, you know, maybe you guys have, but I haven't seen any commenting. There's a forum on there. Everybody can jump on there. Everybody, I appreciate you guys commenting and writing me letters about the interviews. You guys love the interviews, but there's one favor that I need. I know you guys like the interviews, but in order for me to continue to do these interviews, I need feedback on the website, okay? Because the promoters, the fighters, and everybody else see that. They go to the website. They don't go to YouTube. They go to the website and they check it out. And if they don't see any traffic going in there, guess what, fellas? You ain't gonna get these interviews anymore. So if we want to keep this up, this pace, and me covering the fight, and me, and you you guys being the voices of hardcore boxing fans, you need to support this website. I need your guys' support more than ever. Please show me the support. There's great articles, there's great interviews that you guys have not even checked out that are on the website. They're on transcripts that Solarplex fighters, writers have been able to take on. Okay, now, another thing, looking for more writers. If you want to write, or you think that you have the potential of being a writer and you want to cover the sport, where, you know, just email me. Go to the website, email me at David@therewillbebloodfightshow.com or Vince@therewillbebloodfightshow.com, and we'll get you on board, okay? We're looking for more writers. The more the merrier, the more coverage we get, the better. You know, we're looking for guys to write their own predictions. Anything, you got anything to say that you want to be posted on our website, do it. But like I said, I need everybody's support on this, okay? You know, in order for us to continue these interviews and continue what we're doing, which is covering boxing, which boxing doesn't get a whole lot of cover already, we need your support. As the boxing hardcore fans, I'm a boxing hardcore fan, I need your help. So help me out, brothers.